Have you ever been sitting on a plane, taxiing to the runway, and wondered just how many things have to go perfectly right for you to take off safely? We often think of air travel as incredibly safe, and it is. But that safety is a fragile thing, built on decades of learning from shocking and often tragic mistakes. Today, we're going to look at some of the most harrowing airport and runway accidents in history. These stories aren't just about disaster. They're about the crucial lessons that made flying safer for all of us. Let us start with the deadliest accident in aviation history, the Tenerife airport disaster in 1977. Imagine this. Two fully loaded Boeing 747s, one from KLM and one from Pan Am, on the same runway at a small airport in the Canary Islands. A combination of dense fog, miscommunication, and pressure to depart led the KLM captain to begin his takeoff roll without clearance, colliding with the Pan Am jet still on the runway. The result was catastrophic, with 583 lives lost. The investigation revealed a cascade of human errors, from ambiguous radio calls to the KLM captain's fatal assumption. This tragedy completely revolutionized aviation communication. Standardized phrases like takeoff and cleared for takeoff became strictly controlled, and the concept of crew resource management, or CRM, was born. CRM empowers every crew member, from the first officer to the flight attendants, to voice concerns and challenge a captain's decision if they believe something is wrong. Tenerife taught us that a hierarchical cockpit can be a dangerous one. Now, let's fast forward to 2000, to Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. Air France Flight 4590, a Concorde supersonic jet, was thundering down the runway. It was the epitome of luxury air travel. But during its takeoff roll, it ran over a small metal strip that had fallen off another plane. This tiny piece of debris shredded a tire, sending rubber fragments flying into the wing and fuel tank. A massive fire erupted, and the iconic aircraft crashed just minutes after takeoff, killing all 109 people on board and 4 on the ground. This incident was a brutal reminder of the importance of runway maintenance. It showed how something as small as a forgotten piece of metal could bring down the world's most advanced passenger jet. As a result, airports worldwide implemented far more rigorous and frequent runway inspections, often using advanced technology to detect any foreign object, debris, or fog. The Concorde crash highlighted that safety isn't just about the plane, it's about the entire environment it operates in. Sometimes, the danger isn't from another plane or a piece of metal, but from the very weather we can't control. On August 2nd, 1985, Delta Airlines Flight 191 was on approach to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. The weather was stormy, but nothing seemed too out of the ordinary. Suddenly, the Lockheed L-1011 was hit by a microburst of powerful, localized downdraft of air that slammed the plane into the ground short of the runway. The aircraft hit a car on a nearby highway before breaking apart and bursting into flames. 137 people died. At the time, microbursts were a poorly understood phenomenon. Pilots knew about wind shear, but the sheer violence of a microburst was something new. The investigation into Delta 191 led to a massive push in meteorological research. It spurred the development of terminal Doppler weather radar systems, which are now installed at major airports across the globe. These systems can detect and predict wind shear and giving pilots crucial seconds to react and avoid a similar fate. The tragedy of Flight 191 directly led to technology that saves lives every single day. Human error can also manifest in much simpler, yet equally deadly ways. In 1991, at Los Angeles International Airport, US Air Flight 1493 was on final approach for landing at night. The air traffic controller, distracted by another aircraft, cleared the US Air jet to land on a runway that was already occupied by a smaller SkyWest commuter plane waiting to take off. The US Air Boeing 737 landed directly on top of the smaller plane. The collision resulted in a fiery crash, claiming 35 lives. The investigation pointed to a breakdown in situational awareness in the control tower. This accident, along with others, led to significant improvements in airport design and air traffic control procedures. Ground radar systems became more common, providing controllers with a clear picture of all aircraft on the airfield, even in low visibility. It was a terrible lesson in the importance of redundancy and cross-checking in the high-stakes world of air traffic control. Let's go to Asia. To Taipei in 2000, Singapore Airlines Flight 006 was scheduled for a long-haul flight to Los Angeles. A typhoon was bearing down on the airport, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. In the chaos and poor visibility, the experienced flight crew made a devastating mistake. They turned onto the wrong runway, a runway that was closed for repairs and had construction equipment on it. The Boeing 747, traveling at over 160 miles per hour, slammed into the equipment, breaking into pieces and erupting in flames. Of the 179 people on board, 83 lost their lives. This disaster highlighted the dangers of crew disorientation, especially under pressure and in bad weather. It reinforced the need for clearer runway markings, better airport lighting, and improved training for pilots on navigating complex airport layouts in low visibility conditions. It also served as another stark reminder of the principles of crew resource management, even with an experienced captain, a beguiling co-pilot. Questioning the runway choice could have prevented the tragedy. Not all runway incidents involve crashes. In 2005, an Air France Airbus A340 was landing in Toronto during a severe thunderstorm. The plane landed too far down the runway, and with the wet surface, it couldn't stop in time. It overran the runway, plunged into a ravine, and caught fire. Miraculously, all 309 people on board survived, thanks in large part to the incredible professionalism of the cabin crew who evacuated everyone in under 2 minutes. This incident, known as the Miracle in Toronto, became a textbook case for the importance of effective emergency evacuation procedures and cabin crew training. It also led to changes in landing calculations for contaminated runways and prompted many airports to install engineered material arresting systems, or EMS. This is a special surface at the end of a runway made of crushable concrete that can safely stop an overrunning aircraft. The common thread in all these stories is that aviation safety is an evolutionary process, written in the lessons learned from tragedy. From the Tenerife disaster, we learned the critical importance of clear communication and teamwork in the cockpit. From the Concorde crash, we learned that runway cleanliness is a matter of life and death. From Delta 191, we developed technology to see and avoid invisible weather threats. And from the incidents in Los Angeles and Taipei, we improved our ground control systems and reinforced the need for pilots to maintain constant situational awareness. These accidents are shocking, and it's sobering to think about the human cost. But it's also important to remember that every investigation, every report, and every recommendation has made the sky safer. The chances of being in a commercial airline accident today are astronomically low, precisely because the industry has been so relentless in learning from its past failures. The next time you fly, take a moment to appreciate the invisible web of safety procedures, advanced technology, and rigorous training that surrounds you. It's a system built not just on success, but on the hard-won lessons from the darkest moments in aviation history. Thank you for watching. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the world of aviation. Stay safe, and see you next time.